The space station, called Nexus 9, floated in the darkness between stars. It was an ugly place made of rust and broken dreams. Criminals lived here. Smugglers worked here. And those who had nowhere else to go came here to hide. Kira pressed her thin body against the cold metal wall of an abandoned cargo bay. Her pale blue skin was dirty. Her silver eyes had lost their shine long ago. 3 years had passed since she was a princess. 3 years since her own family threw her away like garbage. She remembered the day everything changed. Her stepmother, Empress Vela, had stood before the royal court with fake tears in her eyes. She had shown false evidence. She had told terrible lies. And Kira's father, the dying emperor, had believed every word. "Your daughter is a traitor," Vela had said. "She has been working with our enemies." Kira had screamed that it was not true. She had begged her father to listen, but he was too sick, too weak, and too blind to see the snake he had married. They erased her name from the royal records. They took her title. They put a price on her head. And then they sent her into the cold universe to die. Now she survived by stealing scraps of food from trash bins. She slept in places where rats would not go. Every day, assassins came looking for her. Every day she ran a little slower. Hope was a word she had forgotten. On this night, she heard footsteps. Heavy boots on metal floor? Someone was coming. Kira tried to run, but her legs were too weak. She had not eaten in 4 days. Her body refused to move fast enough. A shadow appeared at the entrance of the cargo bay. It was a man. A human. He was tall and strong, with scars on his face and arms. His eyes were dark and hard, like stones that had seen too much pain. He wore old armor and carried a weapon at his side. Doyan had come to Nexus 9 looking for work. His ship was broken. His pockets were empty. He needed money, and he needed it fast. When the Valari agent approached him in a dirty bar, Doyan listened carefully. The job was simple. Find the traitor princess. Bring her back dead or alive. The reward was more money than he had seen in years. He took the job. Tracking her was easy. She was weak and tired, leaving trails everywhere she went. He followed her to the abandoned cargo bay and found her hiding in the shadows. But when he looked at her, he did not see a dangerous traitor. He saw a young woman with bones showing through her skin. He saw someone who had given up on life. He saw eyes that held no fear because there was nothing left to lose. Kira looked at the human standing before her. She knew why he was here. She knew what he wanted. "Make it quick," she said. Her voice was empty. "I am tired of running." Doyan raised his weapon. His finger touched the trigger. One shot, and he would be rich. One shot and his problems would be solved, but something stopped him. He had killed before. He had done bad things to survive. But he had never killed someone who was already dead inside. He had never killed someone who reminded him of. He pushed the memory away. He did not want to think about her. About the sister, he could not save. The weapon lowered. Kira blinked. She did not understand. "Why do you wait?" she asked. "Just do it." "Get up," Doyan said. His voice was rough like gravel. "What?" "I said get up." "I am not killing you today." Kira stared at him. This made no sense. Humans were supposed to be simple creatures. They cared only about money and survival. Why would this one spare her? "I do not understand," she whispered. "Neither do I," Doyan admitted. He put his weapon away. "But I have learned to trust my gut. And my gut says you are not a traitor." He walked toward her and held out his hand. Kira looked at it like it was a strange alien thing. No one had offered her help in 3 years. Slowly, carefully, she took his hand. His grip was warm and strong. He pulled her to her feet. "Can you walk?" he asked. "I think so." "Good. My ship is not far. You need food and rest." "Why are you doing this?" Kira asked. "The reward for my head could change your life."
Ow!
Doyan started walking, and she followed. He did not answer her question for a long time. They walked through dark corridors and past dangerous people. No one bothered them. Something about the human made others keep their distance. Finally, he spoke. I had a sister once, he said. She was young and kind. Bad people took her from me. I could not save her. He paused. You remind me of her. That is all. Kira did not know what to say. She had spent 3 years surrounded by people who wanted to use her or kill her. This human wanted neither. They reached his ship. It was old and ugly, held together with tape and prayers. The name painted on the side said Wanderer. Inside, a young woman with short black hair was working on an engine. She looked up when they entered, and her eyes went wide. Doyen, she said slowly, why is there a Valari woman on our ship? Hannah, meet Kira, Doyen said. She is staying with us. Staying with us? Hannah jumped to her feet. Do you know who this is? She is the most wanted person in Valari space. They will burn our ship to ashes. Then we will not go to Valari space. That is not the point. Hannah grabbed his arm. The bounty hunters will come for her. The assassins will come for her. Every criminal in the galaxy will come for her. Let them come, Doyen said quietly. I have made my choice. Hannah stared at him. Then she looked at Kira, at her thin body and empty eyes. Something in her expression softened, just a little. Fine, she muttered. But when we all die, I will say I told you so. Doyen almost smiled. You always do. He led Kira to a small room with a bed. It was tiny and plain, but to her, it looked like a palace. Sleep, he told her. I will bring food. I still do not understand you, Kira said. In my world, no one helps without wanting something in return. Doyen looked at her for a long moment. Then your world is broken, he said. Rest now. Tomorrow, we will figure out what to do. He left and closed the door. Kira sat on the bed. It was soft. When was the last time she had felt something soft? Tears fell from her silver eyes. She did not know why she was crying. Maybe it was relief. Maybe it was confusion. Maybe it was the first tiny spark of something she thought she had lost forever. Hope it was small and weak. It's like a candle in a storm. But it was there. And for now, that was enough. Days passed on the Wanderer. Kira ate real food for the first time in months. She slept in a real bed. She took showers with warm water. Her body slowly began to heal. But her mind was still broken. She watched Doyen and Hannah with careful eyes. She waited for them to show their true faces. In the Valari Empire, kindness was always a trick. Every smile hid a knife. Every gift came with chains. She kept waiting for the trap to close, but it never did. Doyen gave her food without asking for payment. Hannah lent her clean clothes without wanting favor. They spoke to her like she was a person, not a prize to be sold. It confused her deeply. One night, Kira found Doyen sitting alone in the cargo bay. He was cleaning his weapons, his scarred hands moving with practiced ease. She sat down across from him. I need to understand, she said. Why did you spare me? The truth. Doyen did not look up. I told you. You reminded me of my sister. It cannot be the only reason. The reward was enough to buy 10 ships like this one. Money means nothing if you cannot live with yourself. He finally met her eyes. I have done many bad things in my life. I have hurt people. I have killed people. But I have never murdered an innocent person. And you are innocent. How do you know that? Kira asked. You do not know me. You do not know what I did. What did you do? The question hung in the air. Kira felt something tight in her chest. She had not told anyone the truth in 3 years. I found out a secret, she said quietly. My stepmother was selling our people to slavers. Thousands of them. She was making deals with criminal empires in exchange for power. Her hands shook. I tried to tell my father. I tried to expose her, but she found out first. She made everyone believe I was the traitor. Doyen stopped cleaning his weapon. His dark eyes studied her face. Do you have proof? Kira touched the small locket around her neck. Everything is here. Encrypted files, records, names, and dates. But I cannot access it without special equipment. Equipment that only exists in Valari space. Then we will go to Valari space. Kira laughed bitterly. That is suicide. The entire Empire wants me dead. I have survived worse. You do not understand. Valari assassins are trained from childhood. Their soldiers have the best weapons in the galaxy. Their ships are faster and stronger than anything humans have. Doyan shrugged. So, that is all you say? So? Listen, Doyan leaned forward. I grew up in the fighting pits of Colony 7. Do you know what that means? It means I was fighting for my life before I could read. It means I learned that victory does not go to the strongest or the fastest. It goes to the one who refuses to give up. He stood and walked to a small window. Stars glittered in the black void outside. Humans are not special, he continued. We are not the smartest species. We are not the strongest. We do not have magic powers or advanced technology. But we have one thing that other species do not understand. What is that? We do not know when to quit. Turn to face her. When everything tells us to stop, we keep going. When the universe says we cannot win, we fight anyway. That is what makes us dangerous. Kira stared at him. In her entire life, among the Valari elite, she had never heard anyone speak like this. Her people valued cunning and strategy. They retreated when the odds were bad. They waited for better opportunities. This human wanted to charge straight into death. You are crazy, she said. Probably, Doyan agreed. But I am also still alive. And so are you. Before she could respond, an alarm screamed through the ship. Hannah's voice came over the speaker. We have company. 3 ships coming in fast. Bounty hunters. Doyan grabbed his weapon. Stay here, he told Kira. Do not come out no matter what you hear. He ran toward the cockpit. Kira heard shouting, then the sound of weapons firing. The ship shook as something hit them. She huddled in the corner of the cargo bay, her heart pounding. Through the walls, she heard the terrible sounds of battle. Men screaming, metal tearing, explosions, then silence. The door opened. Doyan stood there, blood running down his arm. A deep cut crossed his shoulder where a blade had found its mark. He was breathing hard, but he was standing. It was over, he said. They are gone. You are hurt. Kira rushed to him. It is nothing. Nothing. I can see the bone. Hannah appeared behind him, her face pale. I told him to fall back, but he would not listen. He stood at the airlock alone against 5 of them. They would have reached the cargo bay, Doyan said simply. I could not let them reach her. Kira felt tears burning her eyes again. Why? She demanded. Why would you bleed for me? Why would you risk death for a stranger? Doyan looked at her with those dark, tired eyes. Because that is what humans do, he said. We protect the people who cannot protect themselves. Even when it hurts, even when it costs us everything. Swayed on his feet. Hannah caught him before he fell. Help me get him to the medical bay, Hannah said. Together, they carried him to a small room with basic medical equipment. Hannah worked on his wound while Kira watched. Her hands were skilled, but the cut was deep. He will live, Hannah said finally, but he needs rest. A lot of rest. Kira sat beside his bed as he slept. She watched his chest rise and fall. The scars on his body told stories of 100 battles. Yet he had added one more scar for her in that moment. Something changed inside Kira. For 3 years, she'd been running. For 3 years, she had been a victim. She had let her stepmother destroy her. She had let fear rule her life. But this human, a simple human from a poor colony, had shown her another way. He did not run from his problems. He did not wait for someone else to save him. He stood up and fought, even when the odds were impossible. Maybe she could do the same. When Doyan woke hours later, Kira was still there. You stayed, he said. Surprised. I have been thinking, she replied. About what you said. About humans and giving up and... Kira took a deep breath. I want you to teach me. I want to learn how to fight like a human. I want to learn how to stand up when everything tells me to fall down. Doyan studied her face. Something had changed in her silver eyes. The emptiness was gone. In its place was a small fire, growing stronger. He smiled for the first time since she had met him. "Then we start tomorrow," he said. Kira nodded. Tomorrow, she would begin her transformation. Tomorrow, she would stop being a victim. Tomorrow, she would learn what it meant to be unbreakable. Training began the next morning. Duhyun was not a gentle teacher. He pushed Kira until her muscles screamed. He made her run until she could not breathe. He taught her how to fight with her fists, with knives, with anything she could grab. Again, he said when she fell. "I cannot," Kira gasped. "My body will not move. Your body is lying to you. It has more strength than you know." "Get up," she got up. She always got up. Days turned into weeks. The Wanderer drifted through neutral space, staying away from Valari territory. Hannah kept the ship running with tape and prayers. And Kira transformed. Her thin body grew stronger. Her movements became faster. The princess who once wore silk gowns now wore combat clothes stained with sweat. But the most important changes were in her mind. "It tells you that you are still alive. Do not fear it. Learn from it." "What about fear?" Kira asked. "How do humans deal with fear?" "We feel it," he said honestly. "Fear is natural. Only fools feel no fear. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is being afraid and doing the thing anyway." Kira thought about this often. Her whole life, she had been taught that showing fear was weakness. Velari nobles were supposed to be cold and perfect, but humans embraced their fear. They used it as fuel. It was such a strange and beautiful idea. One evening, Hannah called them to the cockpit. Her face was serious. "I have been thinking about your plan," she said. "Going to Valari Prime is crazy. But if we are going to be crazy, we should at least be smart about it." "What do you suggest?" Doyan asked. "We need help. 2 humans and a wanted princess cannot infiltrate the most protected planet in the Empire alone. We need people with skills. People with connections. Where do we find such people?" Hannah smiled. "I know a few names." Their first stop was a mining colony on the edge of Valari space. Here they found Jiho, a former soldier who had served under Kira's father. He was old now, with gray in his hair and sadness in his eyes. "I remember you," he said when he saw Kira. "You were just a child when I last saw you. Your father loved you very much." "My father believed the lies about me," Kira said bitterly. "Your father was dying and drugged with medicine," Jiho replied. "The Empress controlled everything he saw and heard. In his clear moments, he spoke your name with love. He never truly believed you were a traitor." Kira felt something break inside her chest. For 3 years, she had thought her father hated her. To learn that he might have still loved her was almost too much to bear. "Why did you leave the Royal Guard?" she asked. "Because I knew the truth. I knew you were innocent. When I tried to speak, they silenced me. They sent me here to die in the mines." His old eyes burned with anger. "But I did not die. I waited. I hoped that someday I could make things right." He knelt before Kira. "Just give me the chance to fight." Her second recruit was very different. Salman was a human hacker who lived in the digital shadows. She was young and angry, with quick fingers and a quicker mind. "Why would I help a Valari princess?" she asked when they found her. "The Valari Empire killed my parents. They destroyed my home colony." "The Empress did those things," Kira said. "Not all Valari are evil. And if we succeed, we can stop her from hurting anyone else." Soman laughed coldly. "Pretty words from a pretty princess." "Yeah. I am not asking you to trust me," Kira replied. "I am asking you to trust him." She pointed at Doyan. "He saved my life when he had every reason to take it. He has bled for me. He has fought for me. If a human like him believes in this mission, maybe you should too." Salman looked at Doyan for a long time. "I have heard of you," she finally said. "Doyen from Colony 7. They say you never break a promise." "They say true," Doyen replied. "And you really believe this princess is worth dying for?" "I do." Salman was quiet. Then she sighed. "Fine, I will help. But not for her. For you. And for the chance to hurt the people who destroyed my family. With their small team assembled, they began to plan. Solman hacked into Valari communication networks and gathered information. She learned that a great celebration was coming to Valari Prime. It was the anniversary of Kira's execution. A holiday the Empress had created to celebrate her victory. Sick, Hannah muttered. They party on the day they think they killed you. It is also our best chance, Jeho said. During the celebration, security will be focused on the palace. The archive where Kira's proof is hidden will have fewer guards. They planned every detail. How to enter the planet? How to avoid detection? How to reach the archive? How to escape it was a good plan. It was also incredibly dangerous. The night before they left for Valari space, Kira found Do-yoon on the observation deck. He was staring at the stars again. Are you afraid? She asked. Yes, he admitted. But you were going anyway. That is the only way I know how to live. Kira stood beside him. Her reflection in the glass showed a different woman than the one who had begged for death in that cargo bay. She was stronger now. Harder, ready. Thank you, she said. Do-yoon looked at her. For what? For showing me who I could be. For not giving up on me when I had given up on myself. You did the hard work, he said. I just opened the door. You walked through it, Kira smiled. It was the first real smile she had smiled in years. When this is over, what will you do? I do not know. I have never thought that far ahead. He paused. What about you? Will you take back your throne? I do not want the throne, she said. I just want justice. For me? For all the people the Empress has hurt? After that, she looked out at the endless stars. Maybe I will keep flying. There is so much universe to see. It does not sound bad, Do-yoon said quietly. They stood together in comfortable silence. Tomorrow, they would fly into the heart of enemy territory. Tomorrow, they might die. But tonight, it was peace. And for two broken people who had found each other in the darkness, that was more than enough. The Wanderer turned toward Valari space. The stars seemed to watch as the small ship flew toward its destiny. Whatever happened next, it would face it together. Valari Prime was beautiful. The planet glowed like a blue jewel in the darkness of space. Crystal towers rose from silver cities. Gardens of light stretched across continents. It was a world of wonders. Built on the backs of slaves and the tears of the innocent, Kira watched through the window as they approached. This had been her home once. She had played in those gardens. She had dreamed in those towers. Now, she returned as a ghost, a dead woman seeking revenge. Stay calm, Do-yoon said beside her. Remember the plan. They landed at a small port far from the capital. Jeho had contacts here, old friends who still believed in the true royal family. They provided disguises, fake identification papers, and transport to the city. The celebration was everywhere. Banners hung from buildings. Music filled the streets. Valari citizens danced and laughed, celebrating the death of a traitor princess. Kira felt sick watching them. They did not know. They did not know what the Empress had done. They did not know that their beloved ruler had sold thousands of their brothers and sisters to slavers, but they would know soon. The team split up according to plan. Hannah stayed with the ship, ready for a fast escape. Solman found a hidden position near the communication towers, her equipment ready to broadcast the evidence. Jeho guided Kira and Do-yoon through secret passages toward the archive. These tunnels were built by the first emperor, Jeho whispered. Only the royal family knows about them. The Empress never learned. They moved through darkness, their footsteps echoing on ancient stone. Kira's heart pounded in her chest. Every shadow could hide an enemy. Every sound could be an alarm. But they reached the archive. Without trouble, it was a vast room filled with glowing data crystals. Here the Empire stored its most precious secrets. Here Kira had hidden the proof of Vila's crimes years ago, when she still thought truth could save her. Find the crystal, Do-yoon said. I will watch the door. Kira moved through the rows of crystals, searching for the one she had marked. Her fingers trembled as she touched each one. So much depended on this moment. So many lives hung in the balance. She found it. a small crystal with a tiny scratch on its surface. She grabbed it and held it tight. "I have it," she said. Then the alarms began to scream. "You have been discovered," Jiho shouted. Guards poured into the archive from hidden doors. Doyan drew his weapons and began to fight. He moved like a storm, fast and deadly, taking down enemies before they could aim. But there were too many. "Go," he yelled at Kira. "Get to Salmon. I will hold them. I will not leave you. You have to. The evidence is everything. Go now." Jiho grabbed her arm and pulled her toward another exit. Kira looked back and saw Doyan standing alone against a wave of soldiers. He was bleeding from a dozen cuts, but he did not fall. He did not retreat. He was buying them time with his blood. They ran through corridors and passages. More guards appeared. Jiho fought them with skill born from decades of service, but he was old and tired. A blade caught his leg and he stumbled. "Keep going," he gasped. "Find Soman. I will delay them." "No, no. This is what I was waiting for, Princess. This is why I survived the mines. Let me have my purpose. Let me serve you one last time." Tears blurred Kira's vision. She wanted to argue, wanted to drag him with her, but she saw the peace in his eyes. He had made his choice. She ran. The palace was chaos. Guests screamed and fled as soldiers searched for intruders. Kira ducked into a small room to catch her breath. "Sister." The voice froze her blood. She turned and saw Prince Talon standing in the doorway. Her half-brother looked older than she remembered. His face was thin and pale, his eyes hollow. "Talon," she whispered. "Oh?" "I knew you would come back someday," he said. "Mother said you were dead, but I never believed it. You were always too stubborn to die. Are you here to capture me?" Talon hesitated. His hand rested on the weapon at his side, but he did not draw it. "I never wanted this," he said quietly. "I never wanted the throne. I never wanted you to suffer. Mother made me stand silent when they condemned you. She said she would kill me if I spoke, and you believed her. I was afraid." His voice cracked. "I am still afraid. She controls everything. She sees everything. There is no escape from her shadow." Kira looked at her brother. She remembered him as a child, always following her around the palace, always looking to her for guidance. He had been weak then. He was weak now, but weakness was not evil. Fear was not betrayal. "Help me," she said. "Help me expose her. We can end this together." "Cannot. She will destroy me." "She will destroy you anyway. One day you will become inconvenient, and she will throw you away like she threw me away. That is who she is. That is what she does." Talon's face twisted with pain. He knew she was right. "Come home, sister," he pleaded. "Beg for mercy. Mother might spare you." Kira straightened her spine. She was not the broken girl who had fled into the night 3 years ago. She was someone new, someone stronger. "I already have a home," she said, "and a family who fights for me." She turned and ran before he could respond. She found Salmon hiding near the communication towers. The hacker was pale, but determined, her fingers dancing over her equipment. "Give me the crystals," Salmon said. "I can decrypt it and broadcast everything." Kira handed it over. Salmon worked fast, her eyes scanning streams of data. "This is incredible," Salmon breathed. Names, dates, transaction records. She sold over 50,000 Valari citizens to the slave markets. She has been doing it for decades. Broadcast it. Let everyone see. Working on it. I need 5 more minutes. Those 5 minutes felt like hours. Kira watched the chaos below, searching for any sign of Dojan or Jiho. She saw neither. Then Salmon pressed a button, and the truth exploded across every screen on the planet. Citizens stopped in the streets to watch. Soldiers lowered their weapons in shock. The evidence was undeniable. Their beloved empress was a monster. "It is done," Salmon said. But Kira felt no joy. Because a new announcement followed the broadcast. The palace guard had captured a human spy. A public execution would take place at dawn. The face on the screen was Doyan. Kira's heart turned to ice. He had been captured saving her. He was going to die because of her. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no. Samin grabbed her shoulder. There is nothing you can do. We have to escape while we can. The evidence is out. The mission is complete. I am not leaving him. If you go back, you will die. Kira turned to face her. Her silver eyes burned with a fire that had not been there 3 years ago. You taught me what humans do, she said. They do not leave people behind. They fight for the ones they love. They would rather die than abandon a friend. She took a deep breath. I am going back. Salman stared at her. Then, slowly, she nodded. Then I am coming with you. Somewhere in the chaos, Hannah was bringing the ship closer. The Empire was in turmoil, and Kira was about to do the most human thing she had ever done. She was going to storm a palace to save one man, even if it killed her. The palace burned, not with fire. The broadcast had changed everything. Citizens who had celebrated the Empress now screamed for her blood. Soldiers who had sworn loyalty now questioned their orders. The Empire was tearing itself apart from the inside. Kira used the chaos as a shield. She moved through secret passages that Jiho had shown her. Salman stayed close behind, her hacking skills opening doors and disabling security systems. Above them, they could hear fighting, shouting, and breaking glass. The execution chamber is in the lower levels, Kira said. That is where they will keep him. How do we get him out once we find him? Hannah is bringing the ship. She will crash through the palace hangar. We grab Doyen and run. Salman laughed nervously. That is not a plan. That is insanity. Then it is perfect. They descended deeper into the palace. The walls changed from polished marble to cold stone. This was where the Valari kept their prisoners. This was where Kira herself had been taken after her arrest. 2 guards stood outside a heavy door. Kira did not hesitate. She had trained for this. She had bled for this. She moved like water, like wind. The first guard fell before he could raise his weapon. The second managed to shout before Salman knocked him unconscious with a stolen weapon. Behind the door was a small cell, and inside the cell was Doyen. He looked terrible. They had beaten him badly. His face was swollen and bloody. His arms were chained above his head. But when he saw Kira, he smiled. Took you long enough, he rasped. Kira felt tears on her cheeks. She ran to him and broke his chains with the keys from the fallen guards. Can you walk? I can try. She put his arm over her shoulder and supported his weight. He was heavy, but she did not care. She would carry him across the entire planet if she had to. They made their way back through the passages. Doyen stumbled many times, but he never stopped moving. Pain was just information. He was still alive. They emerged into the palace hangar just as a ship came crashing through the wall. It was the Wanderer. Hannah was flying it like a weapon, smashing through barriers and scattering guards. She brought it to a spinning stop in the middle of the hangar and lowered the ramp. Get in, she screamed. Now. They ran. Salman reached the ramp first. Kira half-carried, half-dragged Doyen toward safety. Stop right there. The voice was cold and familiar. Kira turned and saw Empress Vela standing in the hangar entrance. She was surrounded by her personal guard. The elite soldiers who had sworn to protect her until death. The Empress looked different than Kira remembered. 3 years ago, she had been beautiful and composed. Now her face was twisted with rage. Her perfect mask had cracked. You ruined everything, Vela hissed. Everything I built. Everything I worked for. Do you know how long it took me to gain power? Do you know what I sacrificed? You sacrificed innocent people, Kira said. You sold them like animals. You deserve everything that is coming. I deserve the throne. I deserve to rule. Your father was weak. Your bloodline is weak. I am the only one strong enough to lead this empire. Strength is not cruelty, Kira replied. And power is not worth anything if you lose your soul to get it. Vela drew a weapon. Then die with your principles. She aimed at Kira. Time seemed to slow. Then someone stepped between them. Prince Talon. Mother, stop, he said. His voice shook, but he did not move. This is over. The people know the truth. The soldiers know the truth. You have lost. Get out of my way, you foolish boy. No. The word seemed to surprise Talon as much as it surprised everyone else. I have been afraid of you my whole life. I let you control me. I let you turn me into a coward. But not anymore." He turned to his mother's guard. "Lower your weapons." "That is an order from your prince." The guards hesitated. They looked at Vela, then at Talon, then at each other. The broadcast had shown them the truth. Their empress was a criminal. Their loyalty had been built on lies. One by one, they lowered their weapons. "No." Vela screamed, "I command you to obey me." But her power was gone. She was just an old woman with blood on her hands, standing alone in a broken palace. Talon looked at his mother with sad eyes. "You will stand trial," he said. "You will face justice for what you have done." Guards who moments ago had served Vela now moved to arrest her. She screamed and fought, but it was useless. The monster had finally been caged. Kira watched as they took her stepmother away. She felt no joy, no satisfaction, only a deep, tired relief. Talon approached her. "I am sorry," he said, "for everything. I should have been braver. You were brave today. That is what matters. The throne is yours if you want it. You are the rightful heir." Kira shook her head. "I do not want the throne, Talon. I never did. That is why she hated me so much. I was a threat she could not control because I did not want what she was fighting for." "Then what will you do?" Kira looked back at the Wanderer, at Hannah waiting impatiently at the controls, at Salman checking her equipment, at Doyan leaning against the ramp, bleeding and broken, but still standing. "I have a ship," she said. "I have a family. I have a universe to explore." "That is enough for me?" Talon nodded slowly. "Then go. I will try to fix what our stepmother broke. I will try to be a better ruler than she was." "You will be," Kira said. "Because you have something she never had. You have a conscience." She walked toward the Wanderer. Doyan was watching her with those dark, tired eyes. "You came back for me," he said. "You taught me that humans do not leave people behind. You are not human." She smiled at him. "But maybe I am becoming something better. Something that takes the best from both worlds." They boarded the ship. Hannah punched the engines, and the Wanderer shot out of the hangar into the night sky. Below them, the palace grew smaller and smaller until it was just a point of light among many. In the medical bay, Kira cleaned Doyan's wounds. He had broken ribs, a fractured wrist, and more cuts than she could count. But he would live. "Thank you," she said as she worked, "for everything you have done, for saving me, for teaching me, for being my friend." "You saved yourself," Doyan said. "I just showed you the door. You did the hard work. Still, I would be dead without you, or worse than dead. I would still be that broken girl hiding in cargo bays, waiting to die." Doyan looked at her for a long moment. "So what happens now?" Kira finished bandaging his arm and sat back. Through the window, she could see the stars stretching out in every direction. So many worlds, so many possibilities. "Now we keep flying," she said. "There is a whole galaxy full of people who need help. People like I was, lost and alone and afraid. Maybe we can find them. Maybe we can show them what you showed me. And what is that? That hope is not foolish. That kindness is not weakness. That even in the darkest night there are stars if you look for them." Doyan smiled. It was a real smile, not the half smiles he usually gave. "That sounds like a good life." "It does." Later, when Doyan was sleeping, Kira went to the observation deck. Hannah found her there, staring at the stars. "Where to next, princess?" Hannah asked. Kira thought about the question. A year ago, she would have had no answer. She had no future, no hope, no purpose. Now she had all three. "Anywhere," she said. "Everywhere. There is so much universe to see. You know that wherever we go, there will be trouble." "I know. You know that some people will want to hurt us." "I know that too," Hannah laughed. "You really have become like him. Crazy and stubborn and impossible to kill." "I learned from the best." The Wanderer flew on through the endless night. Behind them, an empire was changing. A princess had found justice. A villain had fallen, and somewhere in the vastness of space, a human fighter and an alien. Princess had found something even more precious. They had found each other. The stars burned bright around them, full of promise and possibility. The future was uncertain. The road ahead was dangerous, but they would face it together, and that made all the difference.